So Steve, that was a strange reaction actually, because on the drive home we were saying it was like, we are so happy we've got a draw away at Faversham. That's a brilliant result. But there's this tiny little thing at the back of my mind saying, but we could have won that, you know. We were good enough to win that.
I think for 75 minutes it was a pretty pleasing performance. The first 15 would be the exception there. We started very slow. And I guess in any game, when you've got your nose in front with only 10 minutes to go, there's going to be a touch of frustration. You weren't able to get the job done. But if I'm honest, they did sort of throw the proverbial kitchen sink at us, and yeah, you know, the quality of their dead ball delivery and the size of some of the guys they've got attacking the ball and the power. I guess before the game, if someone said the only way they're going to be able to undo you is from corners, then I would have been surprised based on the talent that they've got available. But you know, we've also got to take some credit that largely open play we've limited them.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, again, you should take time because you changed the lineup again. You brought more new players in, and it all sort of seemed you've amended our tactics again. It all seemed to come together well. The lineup, the tactics, everything.
Yeah, I feel like we needed to freshen the squad up a little bit. I think as much as on the pitch, just the mentality of the group just needed a little bit of a freshen up. Maybe we've allowed our standards to slip a little bit. You know, we were the worst form team in the league 2 weeks ago, and that's not a badge any of us want to wear. You've got to be honest, and you've got to look at some of the stuff that's going on off the pitch in terms of our mentality, our habits, the way we're training, and when you can see things that aren't conducive to a winning environment, including some of my own habits, you know, we've all got to look in the mirror and be prepared to step up. We've brought in some lads who are hungry, really keen to do well for themselves and the team. Got a little bit more legs probably as well. We want to be a little bit more aggressive. We want to be a little bit more of a team that covers a little bit more ground. And yeah, that's probably the main reason we've done that.
Like we were saying, like James Shields, second game, arguably second game where he's been man of the match, and he worked really with Harry. But you got Nico, he came in quiet first half, tweaked second half, and he really came into it. And then just a master tactical switch. I mean, who takes Matty Assel, who hasn't played a forward like a 10 since he was like 10 according to his stats, and puts him at 10, and he arguably was man of the match. He had a brilliant game. That was just brilliant from you.
Well, I mean, number one, I'm really pleased to be able to get Matty back on dual reg from Littlehampton. He was someone who I think the supporters, was quite a big loss when we lost him, but he went on to step forward, he wanted to kick on, and he's still very much is committed to being the best footballer he can, which is one of the big attractions, because we want players with that attitude that they want to improve and they want to do the right things. I'd kind of looked at some of the videos. Bill's been a massive loss for us, and he's very frustrated. He was there again on Saturday, he's always with us, but at this moment in time he's not able to play. Second top goal scorer by a stretch, even though he hasn't played probably for 10 games now. And I was looking at the videos of when he did play, and the thing that he always used to do is when we got the ball wide, he'd really get on his bike and arrive in the box, so that if Trev didn't get there, we at least had another option. Yeah. I feel probably since he hasn't been here, that's something we haven't managed to solve. So I know Matty's an athlete. I've also watched, you know, he scored a few goals for Littlehampton, and I just felt, I know him and Trevor have got a connection, they're personal friends, but also on the pitch they've got a connection. So I did just feel like maybe that could work.
Yeah, because it's interesting you said, you're talking about Bill, because we had that bit of a lull, and every game we were saying, oh, we're missing Bill, we were missing Billy. The last two games, because you had Harry playing exactly the same role, just doesn't have that pace. And Harry did exactly the same job, and Rustall almost. The last two games, no disrespect to Bill, it just means it's a tough challenge for him to get back. But we haven't missed him those last two games, and for us to not say that is, you know, that's a credit to what you've done, but also to Harry and then Matt this week.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we really miss Bill and we really miss Wolves, and the day that they're both available and fit will be a fantastic day. Even though it will give me a bit of a selection headache. The one thing that I would say is we haven't signed anyone as a direct replacement. and the boys are versatile enough that we can move them into other positions and just make the whole team and the whole squad stronger. So that's the mentality behind the signings. We're certainly not trying to replace any of our key players, but what we can't do is almost put our season on ice waiting for them to come back, because we just don't have a date as to when that's going to happen. And maybe that's something I've done. I've just thought, well, Billy will be back soon. So Billy, it's like, unfortunately, I'd love to say Billy will be back in a week, but I don't think he will. I think it's going to be a little while, and we can't just sit here letting points slip through our fingers.
But I think that, again, you're not going to take the credit for it, but you should do, because what you've done, you've taken somebody who plays in defence and put him there, and he's done the job brilliantly. You took Harry, put him there last week, and Harry was back in midfield, and at the end of the game you had Matty back as right back again, didn't you?
Yeah. Well,
so that's showing how it's the versatility of finding a solution.
Number one, it's great to have versatile players, but what you don't want is jack of all trades, masters of none. But what I do feel with the two boys that you've mentioned, I think I said at the start of the season, I'll always find a place for a Harry Hudson in my side, because I just love his attitude, love his mentality, love his desire to win and give his best. He's played left back, he's played right back, he's played centre half, he's played holding mid, he's played 10. I haven't stuck him on the wing or up front, but I definitely feel in the engine room, because of his industry and his legs, whether it's in a deeper role or a higher role, that's where he's really able to shine. Matty's an athlete. He can run with the ball. He's got a desire to get in the box. He wants to score goals. You know, he wants the glory. He wants to run over to you guys and celebrate. So we give him as much opportunity as we can.
He gets it.
I did feel like, again, we pulled Dantier off. We wasn't having a bad game, but I just felt the way the game was starting to open up, there was a lot of space to attack down the channels. I don't know if you remember, T actually had a good chance just before we took him off, and I just thought to myself, I can get another attacker on here in Festos, because I think we were in the ascendancy at the time, and I genuinely felt the game was there for us, but I didn't want to lose Matty's threat. So, you know, I play him in that slightly withdrawn role where he can really open up his legs from right back. There was a lot of space because of the way Faversham were playing. And I think, I'm not trying to claim to be a genius, but I think within 2 minutes of doing it, he's done exactly that, and he's got his goal. So yeah, I'm a genius for 20 minutes. Yeah.
No, but I think the first 20 minutes or so we weren't great, and they caught us napping really for the goal.
Terrible,
if we're honest. But after that 20 minutes, we'd sorted it, and then we gave them. It was an even half after that.
Yeah.
You know, and then. Second half, you'd clearly tweaked it at half time. You did a few different things again. We got our pace out wide, and we were the best team by a country mile till the last 5 or 10 minutes when they suddenly realised, we better try and do something.
Yeah, we haven't started that badly since Beersted at home, Beersted away, and I don't know why that was. I can't. Faversham's a good place to play football. Good crowd, good setup. You're playing against some good players. But I wouldn't like to say we froze, because 7 days earlier we're playing in front of 1,200 people in the derby. So I think it comes down to as simple as we, because of our resources and our budget, we have got some players who are going to be a little bit inconsistent, because if they would have finished article week in, week out, they would probably be courted by some of the clubs in maybe higher divisions or the top. So I'll probably, at this stage, frustrating as it is, I have to accept that we're going to have inconsistent spells. It was very disappointing that we had it so early in that game. We almost rolled out the red carpet and gave them a 1-0 lead, which was very disappointing.
I think you've got to give them credit. I mean, some of the quality of their players, like the centre forward, Wood, their number 5. Those first 20 minutes, you're going, wow. And some of the players. But actually, once we stopped that, there wasn't any real threat other than shots from outside the box. And boy, we were starting to give them, things to think about. And we had chances.
Yeah, I'd like to watch the game back, which I haven't had the opportunity to do yet, before I really crystallise in my mind how good they were. I know they've got good players. They've got some tremendous footballers there. But as I recall it, and maybe this is me being critical of my own team, which is what I'm here to do to a point, I just felt we made way too many unforced errors on the ball, and it wasn't actually about them being brilliant. It was about us being very below standard.
But you put that right at half time though.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think the boys put it right after about 25 minutes. We started finding our feet in the game, we started finding our shape, we started finding our voices, our communication. We cut down the unforced errors. I think maybe the turning point, I think first of all Reggie went through and maybe on another day he could have gone down. Maybe he's a bit too honest, don't want to encourage anyone going down, but then I think Nico's flashed the one across the goal. I think Matty's then flashed one across. And I think we suddenly thought, well, hang on a minute, we are here, we're only 1-0 down, we can be competitive. And the boys finished the half pretty okay, actually.
And I thought after the 20 minutes, it was even. Yeah. But I don't know what it was that you said to them and how you tweaked it, but the second half, we came out and I think they've said now they didn't play, but no, we played. Yeah. We were playing some of the best football we've played. And the first goal was that brilliant one. We're finally getting down the wing and across, and Trev doesn't have an easier tap and he scores. And then Matty gets a goal, changing it around. Yeah. And I thought that second half we really went them. But I think you thought about them and used your pace at them as well, which worked. Because their defence did look shaky. But I think it was were you making their defence look shaky more?
Yeah, I think that's true. We've done our homework as much as you can at this level. And to be honest, they didn't play the formation that we thought they'd play. So, you can only do so much. But what we did believe is that if we could get at them fast and early through wide areas, we could have a little bit of success. That was the best information that we could compile, and I believe that turned out to be the case. Our side's kind of set up to do that anyway, so we didn't. What we changed at half time was probably more what we did without the ball. We've been trying to do something in the first half which probably didn't work. As you say, the number 5 coming off the right wing into the pocket caused us some problems, so we adjusted how we were trying to press them a little bit, and again I felt that worked.
He was the first player they brought off. They hiked him off really early.
Whether that was directly the reason, I can't comment, but I did feel we had a better control of them without the ball. They'll probably come out and go, this is all subjective, isn't it? I'm saying we started really badly. He'll probably, their management team will probably say they come flying out the blocks. I'm saying we got a handle on them second half. He'll probably say we never played second. I mean, we're both looking at what we're trying to do, and I thought we were a lot more successful at what we were trying to do in the second half.
Yeah, but I think overall you seem to have changed things. So we're using 10 differently. Where I think James was more through the middle. Harry dropping back into midfield. I mean, I love Leps, and he's going to hear from me saying this, but we didn't miss Leps in this game because Harry and James between them had a blinder, and James has given us more goal through the middle. So it's we've changed, and that's I think why we've had 2 such good games.
Yeah, I mean, I love Leps too, for the record. Leps, I still love you. We remain very good friends, and I guess it's as big a compliment as you can make to any of the boys that pulled the shirt on, that we didn't miss massively anyone who wasn't here. Leps has moved on, and wish him all the best in the world. Walds and Bill hopefully be back. I genuinely hope it's soon. But in the meantime, the boys that have got the shirts on, they got to step up to the plate, and they did. So, we're happy. We're happy in that respect.
Yeah. And again, it's going to sound really contradictory, this, but because we conceded 2 goals. But actually, even our defence looked fairly solid once we got a grip. We're limited mainly to shots from outside the box. They couldn't get it. And then you've got George, who's, I think he's got in the Kent team of the week, had a blinder. And everybody's going, oh, that's harsh on Nathan. But Nathan did well. But George coming back in, it wasn't just the saves he made. It was, I think I mentioned to you, it's like his communication. And it's not just organising the defence or the midfield. There was times when he was organising Trev and Matt, and he had a brilliant game off the ball as well. Yeah,
I think from a defensive perspective, the first 15 minutes, it's very hard to look solid defensively when you keep giving the ball away, because naturally, when you've got the ball, you open up a little bit, and then you give the ball away unpredictably. You're not in a good shape or a good setting to defend well. So I think as soon as we stopped giving the ball away stupidly, we looked more solid. Again, as I recall it, they rarely opened, if at all, opened us up from open play. Their threat was dead ball. They got fantastic dead ball deliveries, and they got some big, powerful boys. That was the main threat for me. They hit a lot of diags in the second half towards Rory, who I brought on at half time for Mo, One of the main reasons, again, was because I know Rory's better in the air. That was a tactic they were trying to do from the goalkeeper in the first half when they couldn't play out. So again, that worked to a point.
But that also let Nico to come into the game suddenly.
Again, yeah, give Nico a bit more of a base on the counter.
Yeah.
And George, you know, I know that George is a fantastic goalkeeper. You know, I'm very pleased for him that he's got in Kent Team of the Week, because it's a little bit of a personal note of his performance. I'm personally, I guess as a manager, to see your goalkeeper getting Team of the Week is a bit of a double-edged sword, because it almost implies he's kept us in the game, which I didn't think he did. He did his job well, and he's probably made 3 good saves, maybe 4. But if that is really genuinely the best goalkeeping performance in the whole of Kent, I'm sure there's someone somewhere who's had an absolute worldie. George was effective. The one thing George was that you hit on is he's a very, very strong communicator. And that was one of the things that I felt the side was lacking. Nath was fantastic. But, you know, in terms of George's experience and in terms of where he's played, the ability to influence other players is something that this team needs, because we haven't got enough of that, and that's probably why it stands out to you, because there's not enough of that. Whereas you look at a Faversham as an example, there's 5, 6, 7 people that have led in other teams, and that just creates...
Well, they were bringing Essam off the bench.
No, Essam started.
Was it? Who was it? Did you brought another
they
guy?
Finn O'Mara off the bench, who again played for Hastings, and do you know what I mean? Like we aren't on that level, but the point is, we need, if we've got people that have leadership qualities, we need them to bring that, and having George back for that organisational quality that he has is fantastic. As much of the fact he made some brilliant saves. He made 1 tip over the bar, I remember, 1 down low. Yeah, he's done well.
Yeah, but none of those was he stretching the rugby. They were comfortable saves for him. They were good saves, but they were comfortable saves.
He's done his job very well. He's done his job very well. Did he keep us in the game? Not for me. Could we have scored more goals? 100%. I think H had a pretty good chance in the second half. Matty had a pretty good chance. First half, Nico, Matty, Reg have all had half chances. Was it like Charge of the Light Brigade? They started dropping bombs on us last 10 minutes. And I guess maybe at that point, with me already withdrawing Dantia, one of our better headers of the ball, some tired legs, you know, some of the boys were limping around a little bit by the end. Yeah, maybe just overpowered us slightly, but I don't think we were taking a score, and I don't think we were ripped apart.
No, we held them, like I said, virtually all those chances were all from outside the box. You know, it wasn't like they were getting in and shooting and missing from like 2 yards out.
No way.
You know, so it's good. So I'm sort of finishing where I started. You know, we could have won that game.
Do you know what? I think in the context of the game, if you're 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go, you 100% could have won the game. I think what we need to work on is just being a little bit more ruthless when we get in those situations, you know? Whether that's getting the third or whether that's shutting the door completely. It's very hard to shut the door completely against their threat. Because of the quality of that delivery. Sam Asler, you know, those corners he was taking from the left, they were swung right on the money, and then you've got some big lads attacking that ball. Fair play. That's a vitally, that's a real weapon. But from my point of view, we've either got to get the killer third. Look at our results, or with the exception of Rustall, there's barely ever more than a goal in it, and we either just need to be more ruthless at one end, defending our goal, but we need to be a little bit more ruthless, giving ourselves that cushion and putting the other team to bed. Until we can do that, it's going to be nail biting all the time.
Well, I think the proof of the pudding, we've had 2 really good performances. We now need to take that into VCD.
Massive.
And if we play the same and get a good result at VCD, then we start thinking, this is not. It's starting to look all right again.
Yeah. Do you know what? I can remember sitting here with you maybe a month ago, off the back of a little bit of criticism. VCD, we drew 0-0. I can remember, you know, some people are going, "Oh, that's points dropped." You know, but I found them very hard to break down, and actually looking at their short form, they've lost 1 game in the last 6. They've beaten some good sides. Anyone who thinks that's going to be easy, and this is the problem really. I think sometimes expectation of people that don't really know and don't really do their homework, who just comment because everyone's got an opinion.
Well, every team gets. There was some results this weekend. Whitstable lost, and you're scratching thinking, how was that happened? And you know, everybody can beat everybody on the day.
It's topsy-turvy. VCD beat Olmsdale 2-0 on their last last result away, that's a flipping hard place to go. That said, we beat Ormsdale 2-0 away, but Ormsdale have took some big scalps, and you look on Saturday, you think that's a great point for us. Then you look over your shoulder and you see, well, Kennington won, Stansfield won. Do you know what I mean? So you just cannot take your foot off the gas, and you cannot take anyone who takes anyone for granted in this league is a fool.
You know, a week and a half ago, if we'd said we were going to get 4 points for the next 2 games, we'd have gone magic.
Yeah.
And we haven't moved.
Yeah. And you know, we're kind of setting our own targets of where we want to get to, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, and no one's going to give us an inch, and we're not going to give anyone an inch. So every game's going to be a fight, and let's see where we come out.
Take like after the last 2 games, and we've got to be confident we're going to get something out of that game.
That's the one thing, the performances and the points do start to breed confidence. You start to breed confidence, you start to get a little bit of momentum. You know what it's like, if you've lost a lot of games, you almost turn up a little bit of a beaten team before you start. Once you just remind yourself that we're a good side, we're picking up points, we're competing with the best, you know, you can turn up with your chest out a little bit more, expecting to get something.
Let's hopefully, fingers crossed, that's what happens next week.
Yes.
Cheers.